Hey guys, today's video is taken from one of your suggestions. I asked a little while ago on Instagram what topics you wanted to see me talk about. And this was one I saw actually come up quite a few times. And the topic was, or the question was, why am I still in love with the narc when I don't even like them? And that's a great question. I know that I asked myself that question. How can I be in love with somebody who treats me so horribly, who shows me such disrespect and disdain? So we're going to talk about that in today's video. My name is Amy and this is Narcaway. My channel is devoted to educating, supporting, and encouraging victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse. If you have been here before, welcome back. And if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. So let's just get right into the video. So I've written down 5 points about this topic. And the very first one is pretty simple. It's kind of a cliche saying that you've heard before, and that is, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. And basically what that means is, even though the narcissist in your life is probably quite evil in a lot of ways, you might even see those little devil horns pop up once in a while. You'll certainly see that smirk. And they're really awful to you. They treat you awfully. But you still know, and you can still predict to some extent how they are going to act, how they are going to treat you, and how you can respond to that. And that is comforting. It's less scary than dealing with someone you don't know. When you are thinking about leaving the narcissist or being single after a long relationship, that is very frightening. That is a frightening thought. The unknown is scary. Change is scary. So even though you know that you're not getting what you deserve or what you want from the narcissist, you are familiar with their behaviors and actions. And that in itself is comforting. It's easier to stay in an abusive situation a lot of the time, more so than it is to leave and start fresh and get on with your life as a single person. So that's one reason. A second reason is they have worked very hard, often for years and years and years, to diminish any point of self-esteem that you have. Anything that gives you self-worth and self-love and confidence, they have stolen from you. They have taken it away from you. They have worked very hard, and this is on purpose. There is no accident here. There is no mistake. This is not just a coincidence that they have taken this from you. This is why they have taken this from you. They have weakened you. They have taken your ability to have that confidence and that strength to leave them away, so you won't leave them. See how that works? The belittling and the demeaning that is constant, no matter how subtle it is, it's not always very obvious. It's not always as blatant as name calling and, you know, picking fights with you. It can be very, very subtle. The way they put these thoughts in your head to belittle you, to make you question yourself, and to reduce your confidence. So you still love them because you don't really see this going on. You don't know this is happening, and you don't have that strength to leave them. Again, it's easier to love them than to leave them. A third thing that they do, and that makes you stay and makes you feel in love with them, even though you don't really like them, is when they do all the lovey-dovey things for you, all of the gestures. And they do this. See, what we need to remember and what other people need to know is narcissists are not abusive all the time. There is a lot of the time where they are treating you with love and they're giving you gifts and they're adoring you and they put you on that pedestal. It's not horror and abuse 100% of the time. It's not. They are going to be kind to you once in a while. Mind you, it's going to be short-lived. It's not going to be genuine, and it's just usually for them to get what they want out of you. It's also to keep that bond intact, to not let you go, to keep you attached to them. They know that eventually you're going to get to a breaking point. You're going to be like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot take this anymore. This is awful. But you'll look back and think, oh, they did buy me flowers. They did take me on a trip. They did buy me this gift. They did say those words. They did give me affection. So when they give you this intermittent, loving behavior, that keeps you stuck in the trap. And that's why you feel still in love with them. And again, this is by design. If they were horrible 100% of the time, it would be much easier to leave. But they're not. They will go up and down, as you know. Things will be good for a while. They will do all of these things that make you feel special and make you feel loved. And that's the key. When you feel loved, when you feel adored, and when you feel valued, that's going to bring up your confidence and your self-esteem. And you are going to get that once in a while. It's going to crash right back down. And that's why it's a cycle. When we talk about abuse and the cycle of abuse, that's what we're talking about. It's that up and down. It's that love bombing phase, which comes back every once in a while. People think it's only in the beginning, but it's not. You can be love bombed in the middle of your relationship. If the narcissist thinks you're close to leaving, or if they've been very nasty to you for a while and you start distancing or beginning no contact with them, they're going to start love bombing you again to get you back in, to pull you back in. And if you've already left, they're going to hoover you, which is essentially a love bomb. They're going to make all the promises to you that they're going to change. They're going to show changed behavior for a short time. And this keeps you attached to them. This keeps you in love with them. What you want to do is fall out of love with them, and that's what you're hoping for and waiting for to make your move to leave. They're not going to let that happen. They have a sixth sense with this kind of stuff. They know when they're starting to lose you, and that's when they're going to lay it on really thick to keep you from leaving. Another reason, number 4, is just the sheer amount of time and energy that you've invested into them and into the relationship. You have been with them likely for years. You have so much time and energy and probably finances invested in this relationship. It's hard to leave when you have that kind of investment. It's hard to fall out of love with somebody because you've built a life together. As toxic as your relationship is, you still have a relationship. You still have a life with this person. You might have children with this person. This is maybe the mother or the father of your children. Of course you're going to have love for them. They gave you your children. It's hard not to love somebody, even despite all of the nasty things that they do to you. There's a lot of reasons to love them, even when you don't like them. It's easy to do both. And when you've invested so much time, when you have spent so much time loving someone because they love bombed you, because you spent so much time, you have all these inside jokes together, you have all this history together, your finances are tied up, and you have children together. It's really hard not to love somebody that you have all of that time and energy and resources invested into, even if you don't like them. And then the last thing, the fifth thing that I wrote down, which is kind of the culmination of all the first four things, is really the trauma bond. And this is what the technical word or terminology would be for what's happening. You're trauma bonded to your abuser. And that happens because of the up and down. Because they give you love and affection and adoration and kindness on their terms, and they can take it away at any time, you have spikes in the chemicals and hormones in your body. When you're stressed out, you have a stress hormone called cortisol that's released in your body. When you're in love and you're feeling good, you have dopamine and oxytocin and other chemicals and hormones that are released. And so there's actual chemicals firing off in your brain, in your body, with the different emotions that you're getting from your narcissist's behavior, whether it is positive or negative. And you get addicted to these chemicals and these rushes, and you're kind of constantly chasing the good feeling. You obviously don't feel good when you feel stressed or when you're upset, so you're waiting for the good feeling to come. You're sitting on pins and needles, you're walking on eggshells, waiting for that good feeling to come back, which it will. When I was talking about before, when they do the love bombing, after they have got their satisfaction from giving you the silent treatment or from calling you names or for putting you down, once that subsides and they get their rush from that and you're feeling really low, they're going to switch the story on you and they're going to give you the love and affection. So now all those good chemicals are going to flood your body. And that's their way of hooking you. So when you start to contemplate leaving, you're going to be like, oh, I do love them so much. They just had a bad day and that's why they were mean. But in reality, they love me. Look how good they treat me, or how good they treated me on that occasion. And this creates what is known as a trauma bond. And this is a physiological chemical addiction to your abuser. And you might feel that you're addicted to this person. And this is where this question comes from. I don't even like them, but I feel addicted to them. I feel so in love with them. I cannot leave them. I cannot pull apart. And that is a chemical addiction, which fools you into thinking it's love. You're not in love with your abuser. If you have been abused for all of these years, if they have been completely horrible and disrespectful to you, that feeling that you are mistaking for love is not love. But you don't know that. It feels like love because you can't break away. You don't love somebody like that. You can't love somebody like that. What you are is you're addicted to that person. You are bonded to that person. You are trauma bonded. Trauma. They have caused you trauma. The amount of pain they have put you through with silent treatments and cheating and leaving you and calling you names and belittling you and demeaning you. And I can go on and on and on with the horrible behaviors that they bestow upon you constantly. You become bonded because you're craving the good times, which you know are going to come again. Eventually, they're going to stop being mean to you and they'll be nice to you again. And that's what you want. And it's as simple as that. It's really quite simple when you break it down and when you understand and what you know is happening. So what do you do with this information? You need to understand you're not in love with this person. And I think once you do that, it makes it easier to leave them. You understand that you're with them out of fear because you've invested time in them, because you're afraid to be single, because you're waiting for the good things to happen. Well, you know what? None of those reasons are good enough to stay with an abuser. You will be scared for a little while when you leave. You might be a little lonely. Things could get a little bit nasty with the breakup with the narcissist because, of course, they don't like that. But once you go no contact or low contact or gray rock, you get to break the bond. You can break that trauma bond. You can't break it while you're with them, though. As long as you are still in a relationship with them, as long as you are still in contact with them, as long as they are still manipulating you, and you are basing your actions on what they do or say, you can't break that bond and the cycle will continue. You have to leave them and go through those feelings of fear of being single, knowing that you've just thrown away however many years that you've invested into that relationship. You have to walk away at some point, and then you're going to realize quicker than you think that you were not in love with them at all. You did not like that person because that person was not a nice person. You did not like that person because that person was an abuser to you. And what you thought was love was nothing more than a chemical bond, an addiction. Just like heroin addicts love heroin. Do you think they really love it? No, they're addicted to it chemically. I hope, guys, that you understand that just because you've spent a lot of time with somebody doesn't mean you have to continue spending time with them. Just because you've built a life and maybe spent all of your adult life with somebody, with one person, you don't owe them anything. Even if you have children and you're worried about your kids, you don't owe them to stay in an abusive relationship. Because you know what? You're better off for your children and most definitely for yourself to be on your own, to be happy, to be free, and to make clear decisions. When you're with a narcissist, when you're in an abusive relationship, you cannot make clear decisions. Every decision you make, you think of something that you want, and then you think of what the narcissist wants. You don't make your own decisions solely based on your thoughts. You run it through a filter of your narcissist's mind first and how they are going to react to it. And you'll make a decision based on the least volatile reaction of the narcissist, not what you want. And that is often what keeps you in the relationship too. You know leaving is not going to be easy. You know there's going to be a lot of backlash from the narcissist. You know that they're going to make your life hell, or they're going to try to. And so it's easier to make the decision that's going to keep them calm and from exploding on you. Because in the end, it makes it easier for you. But that's the short term. That's the short term, guys. What you need to do is go through the hard part to make it easier for you in the long run. It'll be harder in the short because you're going to have to deal with the grief and the loss of the breakup and mourning everything that you are giving up. You're giving up maybe your family. You're giving up all of that time and money you invested in property and, you know, your life together. But in the end, it's worth it because you get your life back. And all the fears that you had about being unworthy and being single and being lonely, those are temporary. Once you get back to yourself, once you get out of that abusive hold that you're in, that toxic relationship, you will thrive and you will live again. You're going to make new friends. You're going to meet new partners. You're going to make new memories and find real love. Find real love. And that's the key, and that's the goal. And there's nothing more than you need to know than the love that you think you feel when you say, I love him, but I don't like him or her. That's not love. That's not love. So that's the answer to that question. That's the short answer to the question. When you ask, why do I love them, but I don't like them? It's because you don't love them. So I'll leave the video right there. I hope that you liked it. I hope it answered a few questions for you. If you liked it, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and you can always follow me on Instagram at Narcaway, and I will see you guys in the next video. I love you all.